Would you like to throw an epic bash, but don't really have the epic funds to do it? Let's chat about 8 ways to keep you on, or even under, budget. Do you break into a sweat with even the thought of having company? I'm here to help. After trying just a few of my hosting tips, you'll be more than ready to say, come on over. People love to throw parties, but party throwing can get expensive. In fact, it can start to snowball and get totally away from you. I know that because I've done it and I've helped others rein that budget in. So I'm going to give you 8 ways to keep that budget pretty tight, especially if you're on a tight budget. And the 8th one, it will save you the most amount of money. Let's get started planning that party.
Okay, we only have 3 hours, people, to plan a whole luau.
Number 1 tip, keep your guest list manageable. So you may be throwing a party for a birthday of a colleague or your spouse or a child, and you just want everybody to come. But that is where your prices start snowballing. So keep it manageable. If you have the budget for 20 people, keep it 20. And I mean invite 20. And probably you'll have more around 15, 16, maybe even fewer.
Welcome to the party, pal!
When you keep the guest list manageable, you keep the food, the beverage, and everything else that goes with the party manageable too. So start there. Next, let's go full-on electronic. Send an Evite. Now, I have to confess, when the Evite first came out, I was kind of offended because I love the old-fashioned invitation that comes in the mail or that's handed to me and I can put it in my calendar, stick it on the refrigerator. Those days are gone, for the most part.
I wish there was a way to know you're in the good old days before you've actually left them.
Now the Evite is in, but even better, if it's a casual group of people and you've known them for a long time, you can do a group text, you can do a group email, or you could just call them. Either way you do it, it doesn't have to cost a dime. So save money there. Don't feel like you have to go out and buy invitations or have them made and then stick them in an envelope and put a stamp. Have you priced stamps? Have you priced them? No.
When you control the mail, you control information.
You don't want to do that. Let's spend that money somewhere else. So just invite people electronically.
You got mail.
Don't feel the need to decorate. I know, maybe you like to decorate. In fact, if you do like to decorate, you probably already have the decorations you need in your house. I pulled all of this stuff from all over the house. I'm not throwing a party, not today. I'll throw one for you right now though, by bringing out party items I just had. Yes, I had this hat. I won a competition, a singing competition like this with that hat.
Maestro!
I had these decorations sitting around. I always have candles. You probably have candles. Use the candles you have. I already have candle holders. I have ribbons. I have flowers. I almost always have flowers in my house. I have flowers I can cut from my garden. I could collect pine cones from my own yard. Trust me, you have decorating items in your house. If you go somewhere and you start looking at all the party decorations, you're going to start just throwing them into the basket, and before you know it, you will have between $50 and $100 worth of decorations.
America Exploded episode, take 1.
That could blow your budget. That may be your budget. So you don't need to do that. Now, if you're throwing a party and you really want party hats, you must have party hats for everyone, even the dog. You could probably go to the dollar store and find a collection of 10 or 20 hats pretty cheaply. Go ahead and do that, but then walk away. Walk away. Don't get the coordinating things, just get the hats, and you will stay on budget.
A budget? Why?
If you've been watching this show for very long, you know exactly what I'm going to say next about dishes. You can save a ton of money and beautify your space by using real dishes, the dishes you have, the dishes that go into the dishwasher. And guess what? They don't even have to match. Nothing has to be matchy-matchy anymore. You can mix them up. These are white. They go with everything. Maybe you have red, maybe you have blue. It doesn't matter. Use them. Use the silverware you have. Use the glassware you have. Use what you have. Don't go out and buy disposable anything, because you know what happens when you do that? First of all, you lower the quality of your party, but secondly, you get a giant amount of them. You may not need 50 disposable plates. You may not need 100 disposable cups. And then you have wasted money by having the stuff just sitting there. Just use what you've already paid for. It costs you nothing to use your own dishes, silverware, glassware, whatever you have in the cabinet.
Don't believe me? Ask the dishes. They can sing, they can dance. After all, miss, this is France.
Now, this is a big budget savings. If you're throwing a dinner party, you've got your decorations, you've got your dishware, you supply only the main dish. Only. And make it something that you specialize in. Do you make a killer lasagna that feeds 20 people? Make that. Do you make a killer spicy chili for a relaxed party? Make that. Do you make a killer chicken and dumplings? Scoop it up and make that, because if it's your specialty for a reason. That means people love it, they request it, it will be a hit no matter what you do. And all of those things I just mentioned are not wildly expensive. So you make the main dish, and that's all you supply.
15 years and 14 hours later. Best brisket in Texas.
And that leads us into the next budget saver. Make all of the sides that go with your main dish potluck. That means your guests are bringing sides that go with your main dish offerings. So if you're serving lasagna, the person who bakes in your group can bring the bread. They could also buy it, but you didn't have to. If you have a vegetarian in your mix, they could bring the salad or other vegetable items. There are people in your group who can bring something that goes with their main dish. Let's say you are serving chili. The novice cook probably would be happy to bring the cornbread. It's a pretty simple recipe, and they might end up specializing in that. You might also ask them to bring the butter for the cornbread, so that cost is not up to you. If you're making chicken and dumplings, you can certainly have a vegetable side to that, and you could ask someone who does a really good green bean or a really good fried corn or something that goes with your chicken and dumplings to bring that. That's their cost, and that's their gift to the party when they come to your house.
You're not the only one with gifts.
Now, after dinner, guess what happens? Dessert. You, the host, are not required to offer dessert. Instead, you can assign that to your potluck people. So let's say that there's somebody who does not cook. They just don't cook. You can ask them to bring pieces of chocolate. You know how you can get a bag of pieces of chocolate, chocolate bark, chocolate individually wrapped servings even? After a big meal, people usually don't want a big dessert. They just want a taste of something. So if you have someone who can bring pieces of chocolate, perfect. They could even bring M&Ms. I mean, who doesn't love M&Ms? They're awesome.
I've had 3 people try to eat me today.
Put them in a bowl and let people just take them as they want. Dessert should be simple, and it should be worthwhile. So, if you're having a birthday party and there is a birthday cake and you want there to be a birthday cake or even birthday cupcakes, you, the hostess, are not required to order a special cake from a special bakery that costs $40 to $50. Yes, that's what cakes cost now when they're special ordered. That's a budget hit. You don't want that. Instead, you could ask the baker in your group to bake a cake. Most people now can bake a cake because it comes in a box and you add eggs and oil and other things to it. It could be birthday brownies. It could be birthday cupcakes that are just frosted with a candle sticking out of it. Most people are not requiring a professional cake at a birthday party. And if they are, then you can ask them to bring it. And finally, The budget item that will save you the most amount of money in any party is to make the party BYOB. Bring your own beverage. Now, this may surprise you, but when Mr. Jimmy and I got married, we had a $2,000 budget for our entire wedding. And that included our clothing, hair and makeup, pedicures, food and beverage, location. Everything was $2,000. He threw in $1,000, I threw in $1,000. And we did that on purpose. We did not want to blow a lot of money on our party. And what we did was, we asked a friend who specialized in cakes to make a couple of cakes, bigger size cakes. And then we decided to do a wine bar. And it was actually a wine gift to us. In fact, we'll get a picture of the wine bottle light that we developed from that wedding reception. But people brought bottles of wine to gift us and to use during the party. That expense right out the window.
All right, we got the wine. Aren't we lucky? We got wine. Whoop-de-whoa!
I'm trying to remember if we even bought a bottle of wine to start the wine party, but I don't think we did. I think everybody just brought wine, and it was all different kinds of wine, which was so great. There were whites and reds and rosés, and someone even brought champagne, and we thoroughly enjoyed it. Didn't cost us a penny. So when you are having a party, you are not required to supply that. Sure, you could supply ice water, or if you just happen to have some sodas on hand and you want to include that, you could, but do not go out and buy those. Don't do it. Those can get really expensive and they're often wasted. How many times have you gone around and picked up a can of soda that is 3/4 full? I know I have, and I've gone, ching ching, I just wasted $1 or whatever that was on that.
Yes, my soda's flat. It doesn't have any bubbles.
You don't need the giant liters of soda that sit there open, going flat, and only 2/3 of it was used. Got to throw it out. So just have them bring a beverage. If you have people that don't drink any alcohol, they could bring soda, but people are more than happy to bring something. And that would be a great way for them to bring something and for you to save money. So let's get that party started, but let's do it on a budget and let's do it wisely. We also knew we weren't going to open every one of those bottles of wines. And so, bottles of wines?
Come on over. Now go make someone feel special today.